There is some amazing business advice from 5 of the brightest founders in India. Together, they have built some of India's top startups with a combined worth of 3,400 crores. Today, we have gathered the most valuable advice from all of them, and we are sharing the top 5 lessons that you can apply to your business in 2025. Starting with Wintwell, the founder Ajinkya Kulkarni dives into why users are the king.
If you have to build anything long-term in today's world, which is anyway digital first, whatever you do, if you're not a high NPS company, you will be beaten. It's just a matter of time. And that matter of time can be long, so it doesn't seem happening fast, but it will happen. 5 years, 10 years. But if you're a low NPS, you're not going to survive. Whatever your growth numbers are, like whatever it is.
What are you doing right now to keep NPS high?
Talk to users and solve their problems. And it's not that difficult.
Yeah.
Actually, do you have that execution skill or that tenacity to go to that last mile and make it right for the user? It's not that difficult. It's not rocket science. At least NPS is not rocket science.
But then why do so many companies still get it wrong? Like, what are they not looking at?
I mean, one clear case I see when the founders prioritize business over users, then NPS goes down.
You know what? I think this is like very common in terms of rain matter companies. I've spoken to a couple of them, like, Sensible, look at small case, look at even experience these. It's very common. So what's happening there, right? I want you to is it the way Nitin looks at companies, or is it because you looked at it and there was an alliance in building long-term companies?
For us, we actually we really enjoy that when user is really happy, that makes your day.
Yeah.
You talk to a happy user, you will wo dhanda wagera theek hai, chhod do. That makes you happy, right? And that, not just you, anyone in the team.
Yeah.
Right. In fact, we have a Slack channel called Appreciation and Wins, where if a user is really happy, people share it there, and everybody loves it and just gives the positive energy. Right? It's just that you as human being, कोई तो है ना oxytocin जो भी कोई हार्मोन ये होता है, right?
Oxytocin?
Something like that. Something like that happens.
Yeah.
Right? And if you get yourself hooked to it, addicted to it, your NPS will be high.
By the way, you can learn this and a lot more on the 22nd edition of the GrowthX Demo Day, which is happening on 22nd December. The idea is simple. Top GrowthX teams will present in-depth growth strategies from this list of curated companies. And over the course of these pitches, you'll learn how to design your revenue model, understand nuances of customer acquisition, onboarding, and retention. And did I mention the beast? Converting free users to paid users, plus increasing average revenue per user. The GrowthX Demo Day is joined by founders, product, and marketing leaders of the startup ecosystem. It's on 22nd December, and you can join the event for free. But we have limited invites, and it's on first come, first served basis. So grab your passes quickly from the description, and I'll see you there.
Talk to me, these passionate users, right? Users high on Wintwell's high NPS scores. Talk to me about these. What are your insights about them? ये इंडिया का क्या insight है?
मुझे पर्सनली लगता है कि insights वगैरह थे, ये सब सही है, बट NPS में वो कुछ नहीं होता. NPS में सीधा होता है कि यूजर को, are you true to the user? Are you able to, what he's looking for, are you able to provide a top-notch service through product or through manual intervention, whatever it is. यूजर वो दिखता है, राइट? हमारा इसमें वेरी क्लियर है कि वो यूजर कहीं इन्वेस्ट कर रहा है, उसको जानना है रिस्क क्या है. सब फाइनेंशियल प्रोडक्ट में छुपा के होता है. हम उसको अपफ्रंट बता रहे हैं. अगर हमें पूछता है कि हम कभी झूठ नहीं बोलते, हमारे FAQ में लिखा है दीज आर हाई रिस्क प्रोडक्ट, राइट? इमेजिन यूजर कि उसको हमेशा पता है कि फाइनेंशियल प्रोडक्ट में लोग मिससेल करते हैं. अब वो देख रहे हैं यहाँ जाके इवेंट 12 पे क्या ये मिससेल कर रहे हैं, ये कैसे सही है, और वो उस उधर लिखा रहा है ये हाई रिस्क है. लाइक उसका एंग्जाइटी रिड्यूस हो गया, राइट? इमोशनली he's at much ease, he can trust you more, he'll be happy, right? If let's say usko unit nahi mila, he reaches out to someone, right? And somebody assures him very clearly, says sorry कि ये नहीं हुआ. वो बोलेगा मुझे, some user will say कि mail me, because they don't trust on WhatsApp, right? So you mail them. So and that requires org level also कि हमने टीम को बोला कि I tell my CX guys, the customers, कि you represent the customer. If you think something is rational, commit to user. वो होगा, हम देखा जाएंगे. वो इवेंचुअली ये छोटे केस है, अगर वो बड़े केस है हम प्रोडक्ट में ये कर ही देंगे. तो इट्स ऑल्सो कि एन इंडिया इज लो ट्रस्ट नेशन, राइट? तो इफ यू लाइक रियली ओपन अप टू द यूजर, टेल हिम एवरीथिंग अप फ्रंट, तो एनपीएस बढ़ेगा ही, राइट? बहुत सारी चीज़ें होती है, राइट? आई रिमेंबर वन लेडी केम इन एंड शी इन्वेस्टेड 50 lakhs इन वन बॉन्ड.
Okay.
सरप्राइज किया, मतलब कि कैसे किया किसी ने. एंड देन आई कॉल्ड, मतलब आवर टीम कॉल्ड हर, राइट? नॉट सिर्फ कि जीरोधा का कंपनी इसलिए कर दिया.
Wow.
देन वी आर लाइक कि हाउ मच आर यू लुकिंग टू इन्वेस्ट, यू नो कि यू शुड नॉट यू शुड डाइवर्सिफाई वेल, राइट? देन शी वाज लाइक कि ठीक है तो मुझे दूसरे बॉन्ड दो. उन्होंने बोला है नहीं अभी. देन शी सेड व्हाट शुड आई डू विद माय मनी? She like, we can't advise, but if we were you, we'll actually withdraw money. Right? And she withdrew money and she was very happy ki like somebody actually invested money and somebody called and said ki, so if you look out for your users, NPS will be high, na?
Yeah.
Right? And I'm saying कि जो बना रहे हैं वो लोग capable है, execution में they will not, right? I think तो मतलब I don't think it's a rocket science. It's basically takes commitment, right? And then there is I remember this saying in Modern Family में कि 90% job of being a dad is just showing up. I think NPS में भी वही है. You just have to show up for the user and take care of him, right? He knows that you're not perfect, right? They are forgiving, right? कई बार ऐसा हुआ यूजर ने बहुत चिल्लाया हम पे, and then they came back and said sorry, right? You wouldn't think a user would say sorry to you, but it happens. Right, so it's all about showing up. I think it's not rocket science at all.
Up next, we have Aviral, who explains how entrepreneurs should look at solving problems through the lens of Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
I want to just zoom out a little, go to India back, and focus a lot more on the India opportunity.
So I think the first thing, like you said, an explanation. So I have to have that explanation for myself. There was this guy called Maslow. He came up with this hierarchy of needs. It's an exceptional explanation about human behavior. At the end of the day, what is business? Business is understanding a human need and solving for it. So if you create a hierarchy of human needs, you will be able to identify what could be opportunities for businesses. You have 5 levels in Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You have the basics, then you have safety, then you have love, then you have self-actualization at the end. The US is at the self-actualization phase, where the problems that they're solving for is self-actualization related. India has just progressed from basics to safety. That's why you're starting to see an emergence of food delivery, an emergence of wealth security, which is actually investing. We are in level 2 right now. And I think we don't need to be deluded to think that we will do deep tech solutions and we'll build like cutting edge problems, because India's problems are at level 2 today. So entrepreneurs will solve level 2 problems. They will not solve level 5 problems necessarily. Obviously, the interesting thing about India is it's so large that there will be a market for level 5 problems as well. But if you're looking at large businesses that are getting built out, they will be built in this level 2. And you'll have an insane number of opportunities to solve in level 2. For example, I think there was this big debate on AI, on India being able to build its own LLM. I think it was a pointless discussion, because India doesn't need to solve the LLM problem today. India needs to solve for access to money, access to food, access to security, etc. If we tried to build UPI 10 years ago or 15 years ago, it would have been the same thing as the LLM discussion, because we were basically solving for like, does everyone get food? What will you do with fast payments? But, today you need to do fast payments. And India is building a network that is disrupting MasterCard and Visa because we need it. And I think that rather than comparing ourselves with somebody who is far more advanced and who has gone through a journey, which is the US, we should look at the problems that we need to solve. So I think there'll be a lot of innovation in this level 2, level 3 thing.
Coming to the third lesson, we have Chaitanya, founder of Wakefit, who breaks open his entire D2C playbook for us.
I want to know, if you had to start today in 2024 and you are a D2C founder and you know what you know since the last decade, which category would you build? Why would you build it? How would you build it? Jot me like a complete plan.
Principle number 1 is if you have a small ticket size product, having your own D2C channel becomes harder and harder. So you will always be dependent on either marketplaces or offline distributors. Because for a small ticket size, 100, 200, 300, 500 rupees, people are not going to land up at your D2C website and then purchase it. So I would prefer it to be a large ticket size item. Second, I would prefer it to be a product where you can do full stack ownership. From research and development till distribution, if you can own it, the larger part of the value chain and profit pool that you can capture. So the more you give away and the more you behave like a technology company, the less of a profit pool you have. The third thing that I would think about is WeightFit has historically been a company built on volumes. The more I'm seeing India evolve, I feel there is a huge space in premium segment where volumes might be low, but value extraction per transaction opportunity is high and people are willing to pay for it. Fourth parameter that I would definitely consider is return rate should be low. It kills a business, and not just because EBITDA is bad or whatever, it kills the cash. Your inventory is stuck, then you get it back, then you're stuck with liquidating it or selling it as scrap. A whole bunch of supply chain issues come up because of that. So in the home space, premium to luxury range, online and offline, high craftsmanship, target people who are super well traveled, not do one category at a time, but do the whole category at the same time so that there is cross sell is something that I would probably go down the path of.
For any business, finding the right partner is important. That's why Rajiv, who co-founded Urban Ladder and is currently building Antler India, shares insight on choosing your co-founder correctly.
If you had to give an advice to like someone who's looking to start up and like they had to vet their co-founder, or let's say, what are some 2 or 3 things that you've seen non-negotiable?
First is, I think it's extremely important that you have the same vision for what you want to build. And somewhere, of course, visions are things that can change with time, and you don't at the start, you don't know what you're going to build in the furniture category. But somewhere, some alignment on that, you're passionate enough about this particular sector. 2 is shared values, which is fundamentally why you do what you do in terms of your customer ethos and how you look at life. Right, in terms of money, in terms of just upbringing. Third is what I call personality type match. And this is where some level of complementarity is very useful. Someone might be very action oriented. Someone might be a people person. Someone might be a great visionary. Someone might be super structured in their thinking. These are 4 different personality types. There's nothing against to completely polar opposite or to completely similar. It is just that you need to understand as to how your working style matches, right? That's the 4th one. What's your communication style and your working style? And the 5th factor is what I call an X factor, which is really around you just like the same EPL team. You talk the same goddamn language. You like A.R. Rahman or, so over a beer, you just hit it off, right? So X factor is very unpredictable, but X factor generally crosses these 3-4 other things on how you match. Of course, last but not the least, functional complementarity. If you have 2 very similar backgrounds, how are you going to divide and conquer what's the up and coming challenge, right? Because in the early days, you're doing everything yourself.
Lastly, building a great startup requires a great culture. Here we have Saurabh Jain, founder of Stable Money and GrowthX member, who gives insight into how to build a great culture in your company.
You can define culture of any company, or you can define culture within a family as well, by just observing how people give feedback to each other. That's for me is the real culture. Like if I see in Stable Money, people are open in sharing feedback to anybody either to me or to anybody or any other cross-functional activities in how they give feedback, right? Do they wait for 6 months? Do they wait for 1 month? Do they give the feedback immediately? Do they give it openly? Do they give it feedback, critical feedback to somebody one-on-one? That defines the culture of the company. How you give feedback to your family member defines the culture of that family, right? कि यार आप करते हो बात, do you talk to your parents openly saying कि यार I am facing this problem or I don't like this or I want to do this? I think that is very critical. And it, like whatever said and done, I know Harish for last 14 years, but it is not easy to give feedback when you are working together. And that has to be defined, that has to be set as a process, and we talk every day. We have set up time to give feedback to each other. वो बहुत critical है. And that's what I define as a culture, right? We were at Fractal, it was an open floor where everybody used to talk, celebrate, give feedback, take feedback and said, yeah, this is what my client has said and they don't like this. What should I do? Ask for help. वो culture है.
Yeah. How do you do that? What's the structure? Like, what's the structure you follow? Like,
So-
if we were to work together, right?
Yeah.
How would we give feedback to each other?
Yeah. So I think one mistake that I used to do before this is because when I was doing Tros, I always wanted everybody around me to like me. Right? वो सबसे बड़ी चीज होनी चाहिए कि यार people like me, respect me, or there has to be some fear also. And when you want people to like you, and that is not organic, I used to do things which is not me, right? For example, I used to be okay with people coming late. I used to be okay when people miss out on certain things. I used to be okay when people said they will deliver something but not delivering something, because अब मैं feedback दूंगा, they might not feel good. I used to do that. But when things were not right, my natural self was that I don't like this. And when I go to my natural self and people will say कि ये what is this sudden change? अभी तक तो you were okay and what is happening right now? And then it used to go south from there.
Absolutely.
With everybody. I think that is one thing that I'm not doing at Stable Money is being very clear and upfront with the team that this is what I expect, this is what Harish and I expect from the team. And that's where when I said, right, ki we have a rule where we want people to be in office at 10:30, and our first stand-up starts at 10:30. And if you are late, there is a fine which goes into the party fund, which we celebrate together. But we want to be very, very clear who we are and how we work, right? That we want people to be very hardworking. We want people to be very obsessed with customer. We want people to deliver what they say. Like we want people that we trust, that if I'm sitting here for 2-3 hours, I don't have to be running multiple threads in my head कि यार team क्या कर रही होगी, काम कर रही होगी नहीं. When that is there, it doesn't work. So that's what we do for feedback as well. If something is breaking, if there is some concern that I have or Harish have, we just go out, talk quickly and solve it. Don't wait for the formal meeting to come up, or don't wait for end of the day or beginning of the day. So that's what we do. Whenever there is feedback for the team, we go back and give the feedback very immediately. Obviously, there is some feedback that can wait for the proper official one-on-one. So that we do. Wherever there is a celebration for somebody who has done a great job, that we do very openly. So that's there. And whenever things are not working, people can see it on my face and they know that what he's doing, why he's doing.
So these are the 5 lessons you can use to grow your business in 2025. And I hope you have a wonderful year and actionable year ahead. And yeah, don't forget to come on demo day.